What's going on, guys? Pegasus from the Wiseguys, and I'm here with
Danny Howard, aka Inzektor.
And Inzektor's in 2023. God help him. God help him, bro. Let's get into it.
I need all the help I can get.
Right, let's get into it.
All right.
Shout out to the homies.
This is on.
Shout out to the homies. I see you, Paul. I see you, Panda. I see you. Ant-Man 816. A very good duelist in Kansas City, you know. And this guy.
Frogs.
All right, my bad. Let's go.
All right, so for full disclosure, please pardon the mismatched rarities. I kind of threw this together today, and it's the only reason I came.
Gotcha.
So, of course, you're going to have your standard 3 Dragonfly. This is part of the bread and butter of the deck. It was one of the original reasons why this card was so broken back in the 2012 formats.
Shout out Trey Faircloth. My bad.
Oh, I miss Trey. I haven't seen him in forever. I still have some cards that are actually signed by him.
Facts.
All right, so despite what people commonly believe, this is now the individual best Inzektor nowadays. This is
what does he do, just in
everything.
case people don't know?
Instead of special summoning, right, in case they don't know otherwise, this card special summons, but this is the card that searches. And there is a basically 2-card combo that really gets you going in the deck now that involves this.
Level modulation as well, right?
I mean, basically all of them, the level 4 and lowers, have the ability to, while they're equipped, modulate levels. However, this is the one that you want to use to modulate the levels in Inzektor Ladybug. You can send it from your field to the graveyard for cost and target any one monster you control. It doesn't have to be the equipped monster that you were using, nor does it have to be an Inzektor. You can target any face-up monster with a level you control and increase its level by 1 or by 2. So it makes it very, very useful for both XC summons and for synchro summons in this case. Then we only play 2 copies of Hornet. Honestly, if it weren't for Bisials, the occasional DD Crow, and just other random jargon that can banish your cards, you need to have this card, so it's better to have 2. Not to mention, you have the ability to special summon it off of Dragonfly as an additional name, or as an additional add off of Centipede if you're going for the grind game. Right. So you can really justify running more than 1 copy, but you don't really need the 3. Then you have your 1-ups, each Giga Mantis and Giga Weevil. So I know a lot of people have a lot of hate for Giga Weevil because it doesn't modulate attack or anything, but I'm here to tell you, as far as this deck goes, they do the exact same thing.
What do they do?
Whenever, while equipped, they're sent to the graveyard and the monster remains on the field, you get to target 1 Inzektor monster in your graveyard and special summon it. They're both hard once per turn, but that's actually exactly why you have to run 2 copies. I don't know why people feel the need to play 2 copies of Giga Mantis when you have literally 2 free monster reborns, and you can recycle them as well using Secalibur. Then you play the 1 copy of Infernoble Knight Oliver. You don't need more than 1 because you're only ever going to summon the 1. I know a lot of other Inzektor players like playing the Punk engine. I play 3 Punk monsters. No Punk Xiamen, which will in turn search the Foxy Tune, which will then summon the Deer Note. And you'll have your Punk combos from there, and that's literally all you need. They are not there to normal summon unless you happen to open up in that awkward sense, but you really want to E-Telly out the Xiamen as an extender. Nice. Going in tandem with that, you play Lily Borea and Therian King Regulus. They kind of speak for themselves for the most part. Here's the one that throws people off. Reflector. It is a small world bridge. You reveal a dark, you show this dark. This does not match the attack or defense or levels of any of the Inzektors. All it shares in common is a dark. So it's really good in that regard. And because of that, it's not as good as cards like Recover, because I really don't want to pay those life points either.
Yeah, Recover in 2023 isn't a good idea.
No.
It's psychic, though.
That is one of the thoughts of it, though. So it makes it okay-ish whenever it comes to some of the Punk cards, but not really.
Right.
So then we have 3 Zektrite Cow-O's, the card that won being created in this stupid little contest, and we waited forever to get it.
Should have been Galaxy Photon.
They got plenty of cards from them, we both know.
Send all hate mail.
Alright, for the rest of that Insect Engine, I know a lot of people are iffy, if not straight up dislike this card, but if you get ashed and you have a Giga or you have the Zek Calibers, which I play 2 of instead of 1 like a lot of people, then this card is so amazing. Not to mention, if you're trying to dig a little deeper into your deck, then you can just banish this and add one of the insects in your grave back and draw 1 more card. And then the reason... I know. This was the first copy of it I ever owned back in 2012. Way
You see that, Trey? You see that, Trey?
I still have 2 that are signed by Trey.
Shout out to Airfare Gaming. Shout out.
Shout outs. I miss you, bud. All right, and of course, 3 Small World. Oh, I didn't explain, but the reason why I choose 2 of this, and I oftentimes side 1 out going into games 2 and 3, depending on if I'm going first or second. But I like having that because both grind game and its mandatory ability to add an Inzektor back from your graveyard back to your hand, you oftentimes add back the Gigas if you're going earlier on, and you can use the second one later on to establish hand presence so that you have that grind game availability. And then as for my new favorite card from Dune, 3 copies of Infernal Arms Almas and only 1 copy of Durendal. This is the other card that goes in line with Centipede that makes your little 2-card link spam combo possible.
So you feel like this is going to be used in a lot of different decks for a lot of different ideas outside of Inferno, or does it just fit you perfectly?
It just happens to fit me perfectly because it triggers Centipede's effect multiple times. I'll explain that here in a few. Then we have Triple E Tally. You open that. You open these 2 and either Small World and the way to bridge into Centipede or Centipede itself. You're having a heavy board presence, assuming you don't get interrupted. Now, because I get interrupted a lot as well, and I have a bad habit of losing the die roll, I play triple evenly match in the main.
You damn right you do.
Kind of have to. I have to break those boards, those negate boards. And then, if I had one, thanks Stinkelberg, to those who get the reference.
Dress.
No, actually, this card would be Therian Cross because you would want to search it with the Lily Borea effect at the end of your turn.
I'll put Therian Cross down in the comments, the exact effect.
Sounds good, thank you. Then going to the extra, we play only 1 copy of Piccofelina. I understand the idea of wanting to run 2, but that relies on a much pure build, and most of those pure builds do not end with all these interruptions to this extent. They end with a couple of negates like Appaloosa, but they rarely ever end with multiple synchro negates like Borload, Savage Dragon, and Baron. So we play that.
I always thought it was a B Trooper, low-key.
Oh, there is a B Trooper though, but not.
I like how they can cross over because they line up perfectly with that. That's nice.
So I have a love-hate relationship with this card.
It locks you.
Yes, but ultimately what I've decided that I want to do is once I go into both my copies of my first Centipede and Ladybug, I just link them off for this, and I use that Centipede's effect to search another Ladybug, and then I can actually continue my combos from there, and then link it off with Piccofelina, and it actually extends better than it ever did.
So basically around those 2, right?
Exactly. So the other thing is it has that nifty graveyard effect where you can banish 3 insects from your graveyard or special summon it, and nowadays I never do it because I don't play any other insects in my graveyard. I understand wanting to play the higher ranking link monsters, but it's not as good as what the rest of this version of the deck is compatible for. So the only reason why I would ever summon it back is A, during the grind game where I want to push for a little bit more damage, or B, I just like I got interrupted and I have to push for that damage. Gotcha. Otherwise I never special summon it back because I don't want to be locked into insects again. Then you have of course IP Masquerena. Nightmare Phoenix is just that good generic link too, but oftentimes I use it whenever I want to go into my copy of Mech Knight Crusadia Avermax. So oftentimes if I know my matchup, like I played against this Runic player earlier, I just went ahead and summoned this turn 1, and I just dropped this on him because I knew that between that, Borload, Savage Dragon, and Baron, he wasn't going to beat this.
Yeah, you can't keep
it's like he already has enough trouble because he was playing a more pure Runic build, so he didn't really have a good way to out this card because you don't play the live twin package. And then of course going with the IP, we also play the 1 copy of Unicorn. It's still a really good card. I also use it against him to spin back his last card because he tried to rivalry me so that I would be stuck into insects, but because of Hornet I don't play that game, we just pop it. Then we have Appaloosa, and that is actually it for the Link lineup, which is, I know, unusual to a lot of Inzektor players.
Technically a synchro deck, right?
It has a lot higher synchro focus. It's a hybrid of basically every extra rank function except for Pendulum and Fusions. So we play one Abyss Dweller, one Merrymaker. I don't really make this card much, but I made it for the first time earlier, and that board that I was showing you that picture of against that Sprite player, this card was so clutch. And then going in tandem with it, we play the Sargus because we play the Therians. Going into the Synchro Monsters, specifically going in tandem with that, we play the Diabolantis, the Menacing Mantis.
Oh, explain this card.
It's actually one of my favorite Synchro Monsters ever because not only do I love insects, but it's a dark attribute, Insect Synchro, and it's generic. It just requires a tuner and a non-tuner, and then if this card is synchro summoned, you get to pitch either a plant or an insect. So 9 times out of 10, I send the Lilyborea, but if I already have the Lilyborea in my opening hand and I send it to the graveyard with Piccopolina or other discard fodder, then I just send an Inzektor, whether it be Ladybug or Hornet or whichever one that I want or need in the graveyard to facilitate my extensions. But something that a Blue Eyes player that I played against earlier didn't realize is that this card also has the unique ability to target an insect or a plant you control and turn it into a tuner. So in that very unique bricky situation, I normal summoned the copy of Ladybug and I targeted it and made it become a level 2 tuner. And I synchro summoned for Baron. So I ended with Baron and Regulus.
That's
and
crazy.
Because we're afraid of Nibiru, this is the only realistic way that we can out Nibiru. Otherwise, we just kind of hard lose to it.
So you make it early in the combo then?
Very early, and we use the Infernoble Knight Oliver because whenever it summons itself, it becomes a level 1. And most of your primary Inzektors you summon are going to be level 3. So 3+1. Then we
so it
play
has anti-nib capability.
Exactly. So then we play the one copy of Borreload Savage Dragon. This card's so busted. And then Baron de Fleur, and then one of my other favorite cards that I feel is heavily underused in some decks. I mean, I understand why they don't play it, but Golden Cloud Beast Malong. This dragon is so good. Yep. So Ziaman, level 3. Most of the Inzektors, level 3. Oliver, level 1, you equip any of the level 3s with Ladybug and it automatically becomes level 5, so you get 6. This card, when it's summoned, you can make it become level 5, which you can use in the same regard, or you can make it go up to level 7. 7 plus 3 equals Baron. There's a lot of levels of fluidity in between it, and not to mention going second, this card having the ability to spend cards is just too dang good to pass up on.
I like that, bro. I like that.
So it creates a lot of more unique interactions. Nice. Now, the main combo line that I like to be able to open up with is the copy of Almas plus the Centipede. Because what you do, like I said, you open these 3, it's game over, assuming you don't get interrupted. You normal summon this, you activate Almas. You use Almas's effect in order to equip the Durandal. It'll destroy itself, which will trigger its effect. And then at that point, you can search the Zektrite Cow O. And then at that point, Durandal's effect, search the Oliver, destroy itself, and you get another search for the Ladybug. You then use Cow O. Or you
that gets you? Okay.
Yep.
I got you.
So at that point, you then pitch the Ladybug in your hand for Cow O to special summon your Inzektor Dragonfly. And then you start making your basic Inzektor plays from there. You just start spamming. Oh, Dragonfly. Yeah, let me pull that back aside for you. It's in that pile. So at that point, then you go for Cow O. And so you Cow O, send this to the graveyard. You send an Inzektor from your hand or field. Your field is actually really relevant because if you happen to have the equip spell, but not a way to get rid of it, you send it to the graveyard using this and you special summon it, and then you get to search and you still get to facilitate through your combos. So you send it off this because you can equip from your hand or your grave. Special summon that, and then you just start equip, sending, special summoning, searching, and it just becomes broke. And not to mention, because you have the Oliver, a tuner, you get to have your synchro summon plays. So you can, if you open without the E-Telly, you get 1 synchro summon by the, well, 1 synchro monster by the end of your plays. If you open up E-Telly, you get that board that I showed you. And it's just, it is so much fun to end with multiple Omni negates because you have that synchro capability.
Well, bro, I appreciate the profile, bro. Shout out to you. Shout out to Trey.
The original Inzektor god.
The
original.
Him. The original. I'm glad you said it, bro. I didn't want to say it. No disrespect.
Hey, I respect him heavily.
No disrespect. We out.